This has probably been the most fun I've ever had building a site. I'll link the live streams in the description below if you'd like to see how I built out some key parts and what resources I used. In this video, I'm going to cover the process from the wireframe to the art treatment into the actual development and cover some of the key things we're hoping to achieve with this new site. So this is one of the first Webflow sites I ever built, probably about 6 years ago when I was still learning Webflow. And the class naming and the structure is pretty messy. I always wanted to redo this, but it was just never really the right time. Well, finally the opportunity came and I knew it was time to go back to the drawing board. One of the key problems with this site was the user flows. So there's many different locations, and depending on which location you're from, you need to see different information. So on almost every page, you would have to reselect your location. If you want to see events, choose your location. If you want to find an area to volunteer, again, choose your location. And there's different nav links that should only be shown to certain locations to avoid confusing the user. So for the lo-fi prototype, it was actually easier for me to build this out in Webflow using some Reloom components instead of trying to create it in Figma. That way I could show interactivity, what I want inside each dropdown really easily, and how things are going to function. Now, for this, we want it that each time you visit the homepage, it to feel fresh. So if we're live streaming, we can pull that in. If there's a latest message or there's an event coming up, that way we don't have to say scroll down to the bottom, click the sign up link. It's just right there at the top. And each time you come to the homepage, it feels like there's something new. Now, for the campuses, I took inspiration from Best Buy, where they let you choose a location and that's remembered throughout the site. And so here we can hide and show nav links, customize different sections on the home pages and other pages based on the location you choose. I threw in this FinSuite 3D globe just to show a prototype of what I was thinking for that part. And then I focused on clarity, so grouping all the links in a logical order and renaming them. This link was called the Ancient Paths before, and no one would know what that is, so I renamed it to Daily Devotional and put the label underneath. Things like Get Involved, this was called Dream Team, so I renamed it to Volunteer and put the label underneath. So logically grouping things based off of the action the user is going to want to take, and then also just focusing on a better UX. Now, for the actual art treatment and design, I knew I wanted it to be done really well, so I reached out to my good friend Stuart Smith, who's an incredible designer, works with so many massive brands, yet is so humble and kind, and he agreed to do the design for this. Now, what I love about Stu's work is how interactive it is. As a developer, if you're having this as a starting point, this is a art treatment, by the way. This is not a actual developed site. And having so many of these things thought through for you, like the hover states, that just sets the whole project up for success, where now I get to refine how it feels and what happens when you press. Maybe the cursor shrinks down, all the little details, because I'm not having to start from scratch. There's so much thought through in this design phase. And even like this, he created hundreds and hundreds of these little circles, and each circle you hover over grows and shrinks on a delay. So it feels like it's actually a trailing cursor effect. And this is all made in Figma. He was able to do that in Figma. All of these hover states look great. In places where he wanted to prototype a scroll interaction, he would just trigger it on a hover so that when you're scrolling past it, it looks like a scroll interaction. And just so many details like that thought through that made building this such a joy. So for the sermons page, we wanted it to be filterable by the different campuses, by the different speaker types, and the service. But the problem is none of these items were tagged that way in the original site. So things like the speaker name was just in the title of the item itself, and there was over 200 items. So I was at first a little hesitant to build this, but then I used the new Claude to Webflow connector, and I was able to set up different rules. Like if the speaker doesn't exist in my multi-reference field, just tag them as a guest speaker. If you're unsure of anything, just ask me. And I was amazed at how fast Claude went through all of these items, re-tagged them, things that were previously like toggles in Webflow, converted over to a multi-reference field, and it just did it all so fast. So I used that process a lot on this site. So here on the homepage, we have messages and events for this location. And as we scroll through, even entire sections are dynamic and nav links are dynamic based on the location that you have selected. And here's that slider that I built out during the live stream. So there's some parallax on this image. And on mobile, the parallax actually changes instead of while you hover to be while you scrub through the slider. And when you press the slide, it scales down to this circle. So I was able to keep the same effect just in a different way. And then this is that sort of trail inside of a canvas that I built out with Claude. and it turned out really nice. And then here, this was the first time that I used WebGL. So this is a WebGL image transition, and that is thanks to Claude. It just built out that transition for me, and I was able to get it plugged in to the project. And then I wanted to keep this theme of things bending in a circular fashion. So this footer, based on your scroll velocity, just kind of bends. And that's just an SVG at the top of the footer that we're bending the path of. And I have that turned as a variant so that if I toggle that off on sections that have an image above it, we have that kind of flexibility. Now, if we head over to the campuses page here, when you first land on it, it actually starts you out as this globe here, and you can kind of drag around it. And then if you scroll down, it zooms you in to the currently selected campus. And if you scroll back up, it zooms you back. So this is a map box, but it feels like a 3JS scene because I was able to customize it with Claude so that it has some parallax with your cursor, which is something Mapbox normally wouldn't do. And of course, Mapbox does allow you to drag things around here. Now, the problem is Mapbox data is a little old, so they captured their data before this building and this pond was here. But thankfully, I was able to just right click on the coordinates in Google Map and get the points for each of these corners and give that to Claude. And Claude renders out this building for me with JavaScript right into my Mapbox. So I did the same with this little building that was added later and this. So I was able to customize the map quite a bit. Now, once you drag, notice how it instantly zooms out, and you can kind of just pan through these different locations when you're dragging. And once you release, it'll zoom you back into that location there. So I can drag across the entire globe. And so this is using a swiper here, and I connected it to the map box so that once I release, it just nicely scrolls me to that location, and I can continue to kind of just pan through these different locations like so. So after you select your campus, for each page you visit from that point on, it's only showing you information relevant to your current campus. And there is a little bit of a really quick flicker that happens when it switches the campus on page load. So I think I'm going to work on solving that by using Cloudflare reverse proxy so that all the HTML is rendered out before it's ever served to the user. And that way the user just sees it the correct way with no flicker from the start. So I'm excited to work on that soon. And then for this, I used a Codrops example. So there was this Codrops tutorial where there's this infinite grid that you can scroll infinitely, and then you can also drag infinitely in all directions. And I thought that was really nice for a photo gallery. I brought in this SVG bend so that it brings that back in there. And then I use the same kind of effect, but this time you pull to release on this one here. And then if we head over to this live stream here, so this is a countdown that when it reaches 0, without the user having to refresh the page, it needs to just start playing the live stream video. And as soon as that service is over, it needs to pull up the countdown again for the next one. So figuring that part out was interesting, but I got it working really well. And it's all CMS controlled where we can add more service times and it's just all dynamic. If we head over to this, I have this component where these dots just kind of grow and hover, and I have variants where we can do a circle clip or we can just make it fully cover. And that was built out with the help of Claude, and it's really nice to be able to just throw that in on a section by section basis. So here I'm using a depth map so that the parts closest to the camera feel closer to you, and it just creates that 3D scene. And we're using that in a lot of places throughout the site. This is that clip interaction that's too prototyped. And then here we have the same kind of bendy lines that you can scroll past, parking instructions here. And then we have a multi-step form here where you can plan your visit. So I can just enter my information here. Now here, the campus again is based on the campus you have selected, and the service times are only the times available at that campus. So if I switch, you'll notice it switches the times available for this one, and the visit date automatically changes. So here it's picking the next available Sunday, whereas if I go back to this one that had a Thursday, it's picking the next available Thursday that I could attend. And if I try to pick something that's not a Sunday or Thursday, it's just going to tell me to pick a date that matches my currently selected time. So now that we have that set, I'll just say anything here and let's go ahead and submit. And what's really nice about this is it pulls together all of your confirmation details, the date, time, location, and you can add this to calendar. It works great on desktop, on phones, and it'll just add all the details to your calendar. Even the image and all of this is dynamic based on your campus. So it's just highly customizable. Now, if we take a look at the site, I focused on pretty much all open components. This site evolves and grows so much that it really needs to be super flexible. And the team that's working on it is super sharp and technical. So they'll have no problems managing this. But we have different components that can just kind of be used and built out. So here I have like this stacked one or this condensed, and it'll automatically just kind of flip the circle directions when I go to columns reverse to be on the other side. And if I go down to where they wrap, it'll flip it back to the correct direction. So for that, all I'm doing, if I just open this up, is for the offset here, I'm just using a variable called direction, and I just switch that to a negative number when the layout's reversed. And that way I can choose how much that direction should affect how much of an offset for each one. So there's just different things like that that will make it very customizable. So here I have this layout component with the gallery header variant that's used across many different pages. And inside this one, I have the background parallax component, which is just a depth map where we upload the regular image and the depth map version and customize the blur amount. And we can also generate new images from here as well. And then if we look at this filter component, this is used on so many different pages, and we can just have unique filter inputs for each instance and change out the CMS that's used for each one. So having these highly reusable components makes the site come together so quickly and is going to make it much easier to maintain in the long run. So that's an overview of the site and how it was built. Feel free to check out the live stream versions if you'd like to see more into the process. But that is the new TCI website.